everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
One of the best months of the year, Black History Month, has come and gone. But don't worry, you can still take the opportunity to celebrate us.
I love being celebrated, but I'm not sure I know where you're going with this.
It's March.
Yeah.
You're Irish.
Yeah.
It is your month, my Irish queen. I'm celebrating you the best way I know how.
Green beer? I really want green beer.
I'm gonna work on that. But I was thinking a Wee Ole Ghost Story.
I didn't realize where the beginning of that was going. Because I only read the my green parts when I was reading through it.
No,
and then I was like,
perfect.
oh.
Yeah. Because it is written in a way where you're like, girl, where the fuck you going with this?
Yeah.
Okay, story one. Oh, so just general trigger warning for this whole episode. It's ghost stories, so there's a lot of murder. Murder. There might be dead children.
Lightning sound,
murder. Yeah. And we're in Ireland. We're talking famine. We're talking murder. We're talking bones. We're talking corpses.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
My heritage.
Dead children. Story 1. Haunted Irish House. My grandmother owns a house that was built by her ancestors not too long after the famine, maybe 2 or 5 years, I can't remember. Anywho, my grandmother's grandmother was in her bed one night and she heard a crash from downstairs. Obviously thinking she was being broken into, she ran downstairs. My family's about as Catholic as you can get. There's an old-style fireplace that had its coals and contents strewn across the ground. A Sacred Heart lamp, a lamp that's literally fixed to the wall so you'd need to dig it out, was on the ground surrounded by bits of wall. Also, she knew immediately this ain't no burglar. She knew immediately this wasn't a burglar, so she ran upstairs and went to bed, but she could hear creepy shit all night from downstairs. In the morn, she went to check.
In the morn.
In the morn.
This was written by an Irish person.
The worst Irish accent.
Same.
In the morn, she went to check the fireplace, and it was completely normal. Lamp and wall, no scratches on the floor, nothing out of the ordinary. I wasn't told what happened after, but I'm guessing she went to mass and had them bless her home or something. Now that house is up from the sea, a beautiful place on a peninsula in Ireland. We own loads of land from there to the sea. During the famine, people would walk where our house was to the beach, to the famine ships, aka the coffin ships, and mass. What we think is that the spirits of the famine are still walking through the house, though only through the living room side because that's where the trail was. There's an old Irish superstition, never build on a path because those who died will continue to walk through the house. I thought this was all poppycock until I spent more time when I could actually comprehend things in that goddamn house. I see people looking at me from windows, floors creaking, and apparitions. Never told anyone this because I thought they wouldn't believe me. But one night, when I was about 10, I went downstairs for a drink of water. But halfway down the stairs, I stopped. Because in front of me was a train of ghostly white figures, faces just about recognizable, walking through the house. Obviously, I was frozen with shock, but I inched out of view. Gaunt women and children, wearing literal famine rags, shuffled through the side of the house with the living room. It was like I could almost hear the faint whisper of chatter. Of course, I shot up the rest of the stairs and into my bed as quickly as possible. Now I won't go in that house alone or stay in it alone. To back this all up, we found skeletons in the backyard. Basically, the back field with a septic tank. Famine skeletons. Lots of them. I asked my uncle, he said there's probably hundreds more around the property, probably even below the house. Whenever I pull up to the driveway and see that house, it sends shivers down my spine.
Well,
good to know to never build a house on a path, because I did not know that.
I didn't either, but I'm like, why would they do that? Why would they do that if they knew that? I feel like you would know, they're like in an old superstition.
Someone who's She's like, this seems like a nice plot of land.
Just like over a sidewalk.
Yeah. You're like, look, this path leads straight to the front door. Amazing. We don't even have to make one.
No, it's like literally, I'm imagining if our house was just like moved 3 feet forward on top of the sidewalk and people had to like walk into the street and then back up the sidewalk. Like, how annoying would that be? And as a ghost, good thing they can walk through walls, and I hopefully that like they don't understand what's actually happening, because they're probably residual hauntings. That's, I was looking for the word, but they're probably residual hauntings. So they probably don't even know. Like, they're just
moving through it,
walking through. Yeah, they're moving on through life, moving to wherever they're going.
Yeah, Ireland has to be filled with residual hauntings.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like there's loads and loads and loads of history from Ireland and Scotland and all the surrounding areas of that. So, but I mean, that'd be pretty scary if you go down at 10 and there's a parade of people in white gowns.
Yeah, you're like, oh
yeah,
I guess I'm gonna go back upstairs now.
Yeah.
You guys good? You don't need anything?
Yeah, I'm glad that ghost like cleaned up for Granny though.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was very really nice of them. Yeah. Strong as hell, that ghost ripping shit out of the wall.
Yeah, truly, just taking that sconce and like, I'll show you.
Yeah, their family has a very different reaction, because like both of them clearly related. They're like, I'm gonna go lay down.
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Yeah,
whatever this is, it won't concern me until the morning.
Yeah. My thought is, let's leave.
Yeah.
Have we considered leaving?
idea. Let's leave.
Yeah, why are we hanging out here? But
yeah. See, I can't say anything to that extent because I live in a haunted house, and I feel like I wouldn't. I mean, if they're not bothering me, I'm not bothered by them.
But what if you saw just like a little train of people just walking through the house?
If I saw them walking through my wall in the back of my house and through the front of my wall in the front of my house, I'd be like, I'm going back to sleep. And I would go back to sleep.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't get out of the doors.
Yeah.
You're kind of trapped in that moment.
Yeah. Do you think if they walk through you as a human and a ghost walk through you, you'd like feel them for a minute?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd feel tickle. At least cold.
Feel a little tickle.
Oh my god. Depends on the ghost.
Yeah, I don't think I would be really bothered, but I mean, it obviously would be freaky. I think I'd get used to it though after a certain amount of time. Again, as long as I'm not being bothered or something's not like actively hunting me or trying to kill me in my sleep, I think I'm okay.
Yes, I want my deposit back.
And that's fair. And that's fair. There are two sides of every coin. So,
yep. He's like, I got enough going on. I really don't need that on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, they're not waking me up or anything. So I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, all they want to do is go visit the ships and then go to mass.
See, my thought with ghosts is the same with dating. When you first start, that's the best it's ever going to be. It's all downhill from there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, that's so sad.
I've not had a good time.
No. Relationship has only gotten better.
No. Yeah. Yeah, they tend to get worse.
We need to do something. We need to do something about this.
I've been on someone described it as a vacation from dating, and honestly, it's been kind of nice.
A sabbatical.
Yeah, sabbatical has been really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet. I have
dates.
A friend who I talked to other friend about this the other night, but she was with a guy for a long time and then they broke up, and now she is going on a sabbatical. She's going to her home base is in London.
Yeah.
And she's going like all over
See, that's
Europe.
a true sabbatical.
I know. I was
eat, pray, love.
I literally said this is her eat, pray, love moment.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for her. She's going for 2 months.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's perfect.
I literally told other friend. I was like, Jasmine needs to do this. I was like, Jasmine has to do this because everyone needs an eat, pray, love moment in their life. Everyone deserves it. So
yeah. Sometimes you just got to get out of Dodge for a little bit.
Yeah.
See the world. It does make me want to do that. And I know as soon as I do it, I'm not going to like that I did it. I was hoping that when I went to Ireland last fall, it was going to be a bit of an eat, pray, love journey. At least I was going to, like, eat, pray, love something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta go again.
By yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to.
Mm-hmm.
It would be very good for you, I think.
I think so, too.
Or anywhere. It doesn't have to be Ireland. It could be anywhere.
All of the wares.
All of the wares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Story 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't say poppycock in all sincerity.
I
in,
can't.
like, a normal...
Yeah, no. The second you said it, I laughed.
Yeah. I was like, poppycock. Another thing that someone said when we were in Ireland, the taxi driver, I was telling him that, like, we had food poisoning, and he's like, oh, it's the worst when you have a dicky tummy. So now every time my stomach's upset, I'm like, oh, I got a dicky tummy. Because he was being so nice, and it was so cute when he said it, but I'm like, that sounds silly.
It sounds silly. A dicky tummy.
A dicky tummy.
A little dicky. Story 2. A haunting in Dublin, Ireland. I've always been open-minded about the supernatural, and I enjoy a good ghost story as much as the next person. The following is an account of something that I experienced a little over 20 years ago in the county Dublin in the Republic of Ireland. I've had very little experience with what could be called supernatural phenomena, but this one has stayed with me and left me wondering about what I experienced. The girl I was seeing at the time gave me a call to let me know that her parents would be out of town for the weekend, and that I was more than welcome to spend the weekend alone with her in her parents' house. Now, being a teenage boy, I naturally didn't need to be asked twice, and before I knew it, we were cuddling away in her bedroom. It wasn't long, however, until our passion was interrupted by the distinct sound of footsteps coming up the stairs. On hearing the footsteps, I immediately leapt up and something along the lines of, what the I don't know why this is happening to me right now. What the fuck? I thought your parents were gone for the weekend. She assured me that they were indeed gone for the weekend and seemed to brush off the fact that they had both clearly heard heavy footsteps coming up the stairs. Strange things continued to happen throughout the day, such as, once we walked by a room to get to the bathroom, I couldn't help but notice that all the windows had been open and that the curtains were blowing around like they were in a hurricane. The thing is, I could have sworn those windows were shut the first time I passed them, but who knows, maybe I was mistaken. In fact, I wasn't really feeling spooked by any of this, and just told myself that what I'd witnessed could be the result of a number of things. It wasn't long until I actually freaked out, though. At some time in the middle of the night, both myself and my girlfriend woke up and remember asking what the hell was going on. I had a feeling I can't quite describe, sort of a mixture of dread and despair, with a hint of curiosity, if that makes any sense. I could hear movement downstairs, and I had the distinct feeling that there was a crowd of God knows what below the kitchen. I could also hear conversations, but couldn't make out what was being said. I asked, again, to my girlfriend what the hell was going on in this house, and to my surprise, she calmly told me that this type of thing is always happening. This didn't exactly reassure me, but I managed to get back to sleep without further incident. Now, one more thing I'd like to add is that this house in question was a terraced house, and that had been not too long before the scene of a murder. From what I remember in the news, a woman had been pretty brutally killed, but no one had ever been convicted. Everybody was convinced that it was the husband, but I think that he got off on a technicality. I've often wondered if this had anything to do with the strange things I experienced.
I bet you anything. This girl, I'm imagining if it was me.
Mm-hmm.
My parents move us into a haunted house. I can't leave.
Yeah.
I'm not an adult. I don't have money. My parents go out of town. Hey, do you want to come stay the night?
Yes.
And I would not tell anyone why.
100%.
I would not say because it's haunted.
Yeah.
Which, to bring up Bettina, I might need to send her an apology because in high school, she lived in a haunted house, didn't tell us. I would pet sit for her. I had to find out through someone else that it was haunted. And I was like, girl, what? I've been sleeping in your house? So, like, now I might get it a little bit. Yeah, you want someone hanging out with you because maybe it's a little scary and scary things might not happen if you're with your friends.
Yeah, it's less scary, especially if you're with your friends. It takes some of the seriousness away.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when you're by yourself, you're really hyper vigilant of all the sounds. Like,
right.
I mean, I do that living here every single time that I'm alone. Like, anytime that he goes out of town, I'm on red alert.
Yeah.
I'm checking every single door, every single window, and obviously for real, not like ghosts aren't real, but like real reasons.
Yeah.
Like somebody breaking
Like
into my
burglar.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on super, super high alert, but those little sounds that my house makes, or maybe even George makes throughout the night, always keep me like super, super hyper aware. I hear something bang downstairs, and I'm like, is it a burglar? Am I about to die? Or is it George just doing something shitty while I'm trying to sleep?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
which one it is.
But yeah, when you have friends there, you're like, not us being possessed by George.
Yeah, that's crazy if you were to do that. I can't.
It's like, okay, make it levitate.
It goes to like 6, 7.
Huh?
I want you to put some like crying, like sad song over that because that was really sad. That was a really gross joke. Sorry. It wasn't even funny.
I don't get it.
It's not. There's nothing to get.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm old. I like
There's literally
something
nothing.
about being 32 and a half. My iPhone updated. I can't fucking figure out how to use it, and I feel like my mom right now. Literally. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm just incompetent. And I don't care to figure it out.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like. I mean, I'm sure everything is a conspiracy now, but I wonder if there's something that they're putting in our food and water that's just like making us a little bit dumber all the time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either, because that's how you keep people compliant,
Mm-hmm.
by keeping them dumb. And that's why our education system is so poor, because
Yeah.
if you keep people dumb, you keep them compliant, and you keep them at the place that you
Yeah,
need
because, like,
them.
let me just say, the red states that need the most funding have the lowest education scores. So, like, I'm looking at you, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're a red state?
It's true. That's why all the big cities are blue,
Yeah.
because they are educated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's our government's fault. You're failing us.
Yeah. Mild. It takes an education to learn that maybe other people have problems too, and we should help everyone.
Yeah. It's
It's
crazy
not all
that
about me.
with education also, most of the time, not all the time, comes empathy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, if you learn about people and like their struggles and where they come from, maybe you'll learn to empathize a little bit more.
Yeah. It's crazy that if you have empathy, you don't need the fear of going to hell to be a good person.
Yeah.
You kind of just realize
You just
this
realize
is
that
the
you
right
could
thing to
be a
do.
good person. Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
thing called like morals, I think
Yeah.
they're called. Yeah.
Yeah. Story 3.
I don't know how we went on that tangent.
Yeah. Fuck you. You know who you are. Story 3. What is your spooky Irish story? This is an actual story my Nana told me. She didn't tell it as a scary ghost story. It was just kind of a thing that happened, which makes it spookier. My Nana was born in 1920, so this happened around 1929. The parents of a young boy would always scold him for playing in a fairy fort beside the house. It was, as most ring forts are, the ruins of the Bronze or Iron Age homestead, anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 years old. And for anyone reading from the outside of Ireland, the Irish fairies and Irish folklore are not mischievous little people with wings. Fairies are the dead, and in particular the ancient dead, that exist in a parallel version of our world called the other world. This is reflected in the Irish word for... Would you say dune?
My brain said dween.
The Irish word for, I'm putting it right here, which means earthling, as inhabitants of this world.
Dween.
Dween. Fairy spirits are connected to places and objects from their life on earth and standing water. When it's dark and reflective, it acts as a gateway for them to cross over. Most at risk from malevolent fairies are children who are lured away from their human families and stolen, never to be seen again. For his whole life, his parents told this boy not to play at the fairy fort and warned him that the fairies would take him away. He ignored them and would play in the stone circle. He would sometimes come home from playing in the fields, singing strange songs, and tell his family that the fairies had taught him the songs. One night in October, approaching the Irish version of Halloween.
Samhain.
Huh?
Samhain.
Samhain. Can you say that after I say approaching? One night in October, approaching...
Samhain.
Thanks. You would know, Irish Queen. Then
That was just because I observe pagan holidays, and that's where this word comes from.
I say it again. Irish pagan queen. It is your month.
Some people say Samhain too, though. Samhain. This looks like Samna.
Somna.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But it's like Halloween. Mm-hmm. When the mystical tide brings the spirit world close to ours, the mother was washing vegetables in her kitchen sink. Through the window in the dimming light, she saw her son prancing and singing along the tops of stones in the fairy fort. She saw him and only had to take a breath to call him when a cold gust of wind ran through the house at a terrible speed. The back door slammed closed and the window shattered at the force of it. Startled, the mother looked to the window but couldn't see out of it. She opened the door and her son was gone.
Ooh.
A ghost story would say he was never seen again, but as I said, this wasn't told to me as a ghost story. The boy was in the ring fort, and he had slipped with the gust of wind and clocked his head. He never regained consciousness and died in the wailing arms of his mother. Listen to your parents and don't play in fairy forts.
Spooky.
That's so spooky. Well, it's definitely haunted now.
Yeah.
Definitely haunted now.
I love the history of fairies and fae in like Irish and Scottish culture. They're different, but they're really like similar still in a way. But it's so rich and so like it goes way back, which makes me. It's one of those things where I'm like, how can you not believe it when it's been?
It goes so far back.
It's been around for so long, and there's so many things that like is still in the culture when you go over there. That you can go to all these like we're going to so many places in Ireland and Scotland just because of the fairy history attached to those locations.
Cool. Yeah,
and because I'm like, it's so interesting to me because I'm like, how do you not believe it when it's been around for so long,
right?
And yeah, I mean, there are stories like this that date back for ages, and even like to current times. There are people who are like, don't mess with fairy rings in the woods because they'll like hurt you or mess with you or do stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate that this kid got wrecked.
Yeah. In my stint as a preschool teacher,
I'm not laughing because a kid got wrecked. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. But
yeah. In my stint as a preschool teacher, there was a kid who decided that it was really fun to go on top of the tables and the little like play kitchen and just run on top of it. And other kids saw her doing that and were like, that looks amazing. So for story time the next day, we did Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
And I brought an egg. And I was like, oh, look at Humpty Dumpty. So fun. Running on the windowsill. Bink. Falls. Cracks. I was like, what do you think is going to happen if you fall off the windowsill? And then we all chanted, we crack our head open. So
that's a fun thing to teach your kids. They go home at night. Miss Jasmine taught us we crack our head open.
Yeah, it's like, don't run on the furniture. You're going to crack your head open. And you know what? They stopped.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when I was a kid, I had a barrette on top of my head, like one of the clippy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I was running through the house and I hit my head on the corner of a table right on top of my barrette and cut my head open.
Yeah. See, a lot of nursery rhymes and fairy tales are cautionary tales for children.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Don't go in the woods. Don't run on the wall. You're going to crack your head open. Like, I do think it's not a bad thing to continue to use these as those things.
Yeah.
Because kids can handle it, and they need to know what happens, because they don't understand what could happen to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to explain it in a way that, okay, don't do this, because that's what happened in the story. So
yeah.
I
mean, it's unfortunate.
So, if you got a kid who likes to jump off shit, maybe
read
Humpty Dumpty.
That the because I wonder if it was the fairies and they just came in and slammed the door and busted the glass out of the window just for extra insult to injury.
Yeah,
your kid's dead. And now you got to replace your window. And it's the 1920s, so that's going to cost you your entire house.
That's like really hard.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know a glass guy? Because you have to know a glass guy. You can't
Otherwise,
Google it.
you have to make it yourself.
Yeah. Ugh, I would have been so useless. I guess I would like grow up knowing how to do like things.
Yeah, you would have been raised like knowing how to do stuff.
But yeah, if I like, I haven't watched Outlander, but if I got Outlandered,
I don't know what that is.
it's like where this like woman like touches a stone and she goes back in time or something, and it's in, I want to say, Scotland.
Interesting.
But
I'm
she's
pinching you every time you say
sorry.
I condition you.
Yeah. She's, I could be wrong because I haven't watched it. She's a nurse or something. So when she goes back, she can actually be useful. If I go back, do you want a bad joke or a video edit?
Yeah. Yeah. I watched this movie the other day. This is a little off tangent, but I watched this movie the other day, and it was called Cotto Lake, and it was literally, the whole premise was like a time warp in the middle of the swamp in Texas, and it was so confusing.
Yeah.
And I was watching it with Sarah, but she fell asleep halfway through, so I was telling her today, actually, I was trying to explain to her the entire ending, and I was like, okay, so what happens, basically? So the daughters, so there's a mom and a teenage daughter, and then like a young teenage daughter, right? And the older teenage daughter and the mom butt heads a lot, so she's not at home. But she comes back one day for some sort of event, and the little sister tries to follow her when she leaves and goes missing. So that's the premise of the story. And so it's the older sister trying to find the little sister.
Okay.
So she goes, and it's also following at the same time this guy from 20 years earlier who's looking for his mom.
Okay.
His mom like went missing. She was in a car crash, fell off the bridge or something, and her body was missing. Mm-hmm. So he was looking for his mom, and she was looking for her sister. And so I was trying to explain to Sarah, I was like, so she goes and she finds this time portal. She goes back in time to 2005 and realizes that her mom is like the girl that her mom thought that she tried, her dad left her for, but her dad is actually the guy who's looking for his mom. Yeah. And his sister, he finds this girl in the middle of the woods because he finds the portal in 2005 and flash forwards to the future, finds the girl, tries to go back in time, or tries to find her help, but he goes back in time and then goes back in time to when the dam was built for that area, because every time there's a drought, that's when the portal opens. So he goes back in time to 1950 and drops this girl off with these guys, and he's like, take care of her, like I need, like she's about to die, and then leaves, and then goes back into the future, and then they all realize, and they don't know each other, they realize that the little girl is actually his mom that he dropped off, and she grew up, had him, and that's the and sister.
It just circles.
Yeah.
Wild.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird movie. I was trying to explain that, and I was like, I feel like I'm like a schizophrenic person talking. I'm like, so the oldest daughter, her sister is actually her grandma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to hear the pitch room for that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was not directed, produced by M. Night Shyamalan, so it made sense.
Yeah. He's like, and there's gonna be a twist.
Yeah, it was
you wait.
Different directors, but he produced it. Okay. So yeah. But anyway,
that sounds good.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
Kept me on my toes the whole time, but I was like, what the fuck is going on? Wait, he's back and they're building the dam? Oh, so he's back in the 50s. Oh, and he's dropping her off. Oh, that's his mom? Yes. Like, what the fuck is happening? Wild. And then she goes back into the current time, and she's talking to her mom, and her mom like realizes as they're talking that her oldest daughter was the woman that she thought her dad, who was looking for his mom, cheated on her and left her for, and they got into a fight in 2005, but it was actually her daughter who confronted her mom in the parking lot, and she's like, hey, what the fuck? I know you. Like, you're my mom. And she's like, you took him.
It was you.
Yeah. So, weird.
That's wild.
Story 4. Irish Giant Ghost Story. True.
In case you're wondering.
All chat.
True.
I'm from Ireland and live in England at the moment, and I've never heard of any ancient giants before, or even that skeletons had been found in the past. However, I have a true story of actually seeing one. It was maybe 5 to 7 years ago on a trip to Ireland. Not sure of the year exactly. A friend of mine and myself saw what looked to be a giant walking across the motorway in Ireland after a visit to Tara. We were heading south after coming down from a visit to the Hill of Tara in County Meath, Ireland. I was driving down the motorway and I distinctly remember we passed a group of traveler caravans parked on the grass verge on my left side. After passing them, I could see somebody crossing the motorway ahead of the car. I first thought it was somebody from the caravan site crossing over for some reason, but I could see that this man was huge. We both saw the man and the giant, I will call it, clearly a man who was really tall, about 200 meters ahead of us, and we were driving back to Dublin. It was huge, beyond normal height, maybe at least 10 feet. It was very hard to say exactly, and it moved very slowly with his head bowed. Very slim and took no notice of us as he was moving so slowly, and it was the strangest thing. I thought that somebody was crossing the motorway, so I readied the brake as I was doing about 70 miles per hour, but I approached him in the car, and the giant just got to the central reservation of the motorway, which was a large hedge, and it disappeared. My friend in the passenger seat said he was seeing it, and he said to be careful as we approached it, and we both saw the same thing at the same time, described the features of the person exactly. The strangeness about the man or being was the way it moved, very slowly and heavy, not fast at all. And he had long black hair with a top which went to the knee length, but he had something under it so I could not see flesh. It was not a cape, but some sort of top. I can still see the image to this day, but the color was not apparent. The weather was clear and it was daylight. Tara is a very spiritual place, and we visited the Stone of Destiny just beforehand. The stone is called Lisnafail. So that was it. Both of us saw.
Kind regards, Carlos. I have a picture that they posted of what they found online that it kind of looks like
Sasquatch.
Yeah, but they're like, but it was skinnier, and very gray with dark clothes. And someone asked, could it have just been a man on stilts? You mentioned a caravan, I think circus. And they go, come on, he disappeared halfway across the motorway.
Okay.
Like, not a man on stilts, I guess.
Yeah. What if he just collapsed?
Yeah. Just fell over.
Yeah.
Well, he was behind hedges.
Yeah, he was behind hedges, so maybe he just literally fell over.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were trying to play a prank on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to drum up some business to the area.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, there's a Sasquatch here.
Yeah.
They get some tourists, sell some t-shirts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think giants existed?
Yeah. Because, Andre the Giant and Shaq exist. So
Yeah.
you're telling me that there's no way there couldn't have been just some really tall people that all had really, really big, tall babies.
Yeah.
And, it's with... This might sound, terrible and eugenics-y, and I'm so sorry for that. But, you know how there's, a Great Dane and a Chihuahua?
Yeah.
I feel like there could have been, a Great Dane of, a Homo sapien species.
Yeah.
That might have just gotten...
Lost in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. I was always really scared of giants when I was a kid.
So you hated Jack and the Beanstalk.
I didn't like Jack and the Beanstalk, and I hated BFG.
Mm-hmm.
Because we read that in school, and we also watched the movie, and I was petrified that Bone Crusher or Skin Ripper or whatever they were called were going to break into my room in the middle of the night and eat me.
There's nothing you could do.
Yeah, I had nightmares about it all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, these giants are gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna die in this. That's literally how it felt as a kid all the time. It was The Grudge and giants. I had nightmares all the time.
Wow. Both awful, because what are you going to do?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't go
just
into a house because they can just smack it.
Right.
If we're talking about the giants that we think, because I'm this is a baby giant.
Yeah.
When I think of a giant, I think
We're
their foot is the size of my car.
Yeah.
It's kind of giant. So
Yeah, and they're in folklore all over the world.
yeah,
So there had to have been something.
yeah. What is the government not telling us? Ghosts are real. Giants are real. Fairies are real.
Yeah, they all live in the national parks.
Yeah, true. Missing 411. We need to do an episode on like missing 411 stories. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was great crack.
A great what?
Crack, you know, a good time.
I'm sure it is. And you can keep having a good time with us by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, everything like that. You can listen to us on YouTube and Spotify and Amazon and Apple. And if you want to share your own story, you can do so at our Reddit and all of our social medias also. What was that _ the pod, or email us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
I'm thinking it's time for a green beer.
I'm thinking you'd be correct. Wait, what was that?